On January 19th, Israeli soldiers left Gaza, believing they'd done a good job and happy the war was over. But 6 months on, some have decided to speak out. 25 soldiers who fought in Operation Cast Lead approached the Israeli Association Breaking the Silence to lift the lid on what happened.
There are 54 different testimonies about different topics in the booklet.
All talk about the atmosphere, massive destruction, a total absence of opposition and the constant noise of tank fire and bullets. Never, say these soldiers, had such strong firepower being used in the Palestinian territories.
We were constantly firing day and night. We were using our machine guns while the tanks were constantly shelling.
And did you ever see any enemy fighters?
No, and I insist on this. We saw no one, absolutely nobody. We never identified anything suspicious or a Hamas militant.
Having in the past been told to take great care with civilians, these soldiers talk about an army they didn't recognise. The instructions were clear, they say. Take no risk and shoot if you had the smallest doubt.
The issue of innocence was never mentioned, and if it was just to say there were no innocent people. Everyone there was an enemy. It was a phrase we kept hearing from our brigade commander. Wherever you are, if there is someone, they're an enemy.
The soldiers talk about an atmosphere of impunity. Some go as far to suggest possible war crimes, such as using civilians as human shields.
In order to enter a house bypassing potential explosive charges, civilians were simply instructed to break the walls. And in some cases, the civilian would be forced to walk ahead of the soldier while the soldier placed his gun on the civilian's shoulder.
The Israeli army frequently accuses Hamas of using civilians as human shields and is now being accused by some of its own soldiers as doing the same. Breaking the Silence wants explanations.
Soldiers come back home and hear IDF spokesperson on TV saying, "We don't use innocent civilians as human shields." And they know they have used. So, what is the result of these lies? What do you teach the soldiers on the ground? Well, you're betraying them. You're betraying us as a society.
In its own investigation, the Israeli army rejected accusations of war crimes while stating its regret for the deaths of innocent Palestinians during the conflict.